Well, they would desperately want Rohit Sharma to be fit for the challenges that await still in Manchester. Remember, there's one test match to go, and the standard of cricket throughout the series has been something to behold. We go again on Friday. Very challenging for the bowlers, but the cricketing action from this remarkable series has not ended here at the Oval. But England's chances of winning the series have. India 2-1 up with that final test at Emirates Old Trafford to come. The crowd here have supported India to the hill. An absolute full house here at the Oval on day 5. It's been absolutely fantastic. Well, we had an argument, didn't we, about who was going to get the man of the match. You won.
Let's tell the world who I voted for then. Thank you very much. It was either Shardul Thakur or Rohit Sharma. I know what Shane says about Bumrah's spell, but I just think 100 behind. And the day that he got the 100, the lights were on all day. It was cloudy. If he had gone early, then it might have been a completely different story. His first 100 away from home. He deserved 100 for everything he's done in the series at the top of the order. I voted for Rohit. If Shardul Thakur had got it, you couldn't have many complaints about that as well.
It's not just him at the top of the order. As Af mentioned there, his partnership with KL Rahul has been very important for India, given the conditions.
Fantastic, and they're facing some pretty good bowlers, one of the all-time greats, and some other very good bowlers that are in form. So I think, and they've also had the wrong side of the conditions. If you looked at who's had the hardest of the conditions, India's top order would have as well. So it's not as though they've been batting in a lot of this stuff for the whole series. So you've got to take your hat off to those guys. The amount of good starts they've got to protect that middle order when they're probably been a batsman light for the whole series. Don't underestimate what a job both those guys have done. One of those guys gets out cheaply. There's so much pressure on that middle order, and a couple of them are out of form. So, yeah, no, they've been absolutely outstanding as well.
Just with today, and Virat mentioned it when he was talking to Mike Latham then, the fact that they got the ball to reverse swinging, they could get Jadeja to jam it into the pizza, as he called it, wait the other side, that gave them something to work with. Yeah,
Shardul Thakur said that on interview to Butch this morning. He said not only are we using our left-arm spinner to bowl it in the rough and make it difficult for the left and right-handers, but by doing that, he's scuffing up one side. Then the seamers at the other end are getting it. It was a massive difference between yesterday and today, was that yesterday was gun barrel straight, and batters at the Oval, if it's like that, you hit through the line. The moment there's any kind of movement, then batters are a little bit, and it's 90+ mile an hour with Bumrah, then you've got a different challenge. That was the difference between what England served up and what India served up today.
And just to add on to what Nasser's talking about, Jadeja locked down an end. So the spells, the quick bowlers had to bowl on a flat pitch, weren't quick, they were impact. 4 or 5 overs, boom, in you go. Jadeja held up an end. So that was also why they'll be able to get it done.
What England might do going to Manchester, which starts on Friday. Anderson has bowled 163.5 overs in the series. Robinson 166 and 2 balls in the series. Jimmy's done 47 overs here. Robinson's done 49.5 overs here. And then they might have to go again on Friday. Is that sustainable?
Well, and they look tired, it has to be said. You know, we were all looking at them saying, just lack that zip in that yard. They've done all the hard yards. They've bowled so well through this series, but they just looked a bit tired. The only thing I'll say is today's off. Like, they didn't bowl or do anything really today, so that's Monday.
Well, you always say 2 sleeps, but is that enough with that amount?
Yeah, you need 2 good sleeps in game to get over it. Outside of that, you probably need 3 or 4 days. So they've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They've got 4 days. They could bat first in Manchester. That gives them an extra day, hopefully. That's 5 days, so that gives a bit of time off. I think Mark Wood will definitely play at Manchester. I think they'll have to look at the conditions. They might even contemplate another spinner like Jack Leach. Because by all accounts of what we've seen at Manchester this year, the ball has spun big time. But yeah, they look tired, but you're 2-1 down, and England want to level the series to 2-2, so you want your best players playing. So I think it'll be like Silverwood said, it'll be let's weigh them up over the next day or so, let's get up to Manchester, assess the conditions, and then formulate a plan on how we can win this test match, given what we've got ready and available.
Well, Saqib Mahmood has gone in the side. He might have been a chance there, particularly with abrasive surface reverse swing. Overton's just been cracked on the elbow. We don't know if that's a bad injury or just exceptionally painful. Sam Curran looked pretty ineffective in the test matches we saw. But you've been speaking to Ian Bell. It's dry up there, he reckoned. It might turn. That might give them a way out. But what would you do?
Well, I mean, the test match pitch might be different. The county pitches have been spinning off late. By all accounts, it looks a fairly sort of scarified square. So it could go down the 2-spin option. I'm old-fashioned. I'd go up to the bowler tomorrow morning and go up to Jimmy Anderson and Ollie Robinson and say, are you fit and available for Friday? And if they say yes, I would play him. It's their last game. They can rest up for the Ashes after that. You don't have to go and do county cricket. But what I would have done, I would have looked after him yesterday. My rant yesterday was the ball was gun barrel straight. You have Moeen Ali who's standing there on a fourth-day pitch. We saw what Jadeja's doing here. Shane said about how they've rotated their seamers 4, 5, 6 over bursts at most. We didn't bowl Overton at all in that lunch and tea session. We didn't bowl Moeen Ali that much, and it was Ollie Robinson and Jimmy Anderson again on a flat pitch that's doing nothing. So if you do play him, you do have to look after him. But I would go up to him tomorrow, and I'm old-fashioned. Are you available? Yes, I am. Go and win us that game, get us back to 2-all.
Well, does sports science come into it at all? I know this modern day now with sports science, they come up and say, look, this guy's red zoning. And
yeah, it does, of course. You take that, but I'd find it very difficult to go up to Jimmy Anderson on his home ground, and if he says, look, I'm fine. I've not played any county cricket, or hardly any. I'm not doing anything till the Ashes. It's not like those overs you've said. It's not been on the back of 7 county championship games. It has been just test match cricket, and obviously, you know, if they break down, they break down, but that is part of being a bowler. But the other part of being a bowler, and it's happened with Joe in the past, and Joe Root, when you get on a flat surface, he tears the backside out of some of these big lads, and he needs to look after him. He really needs to look after him when it gets that flat.
And for the record, I'm with Nasser. I'm not suggesting in any other way. You know, as a leader, as a bowler, if the captain can't consider you right to play, I'd always be honest. And Joe Root will know the look or the response, whether it be from an Anderson or a Robinson, of what sort of response he gets. If he gets the response he wants, then he'll say, you're playing. As simple as that.
One bowler who did shine for England in this Test match returning was Chris Wokes. How impressed were you with him?
I mean, these, you know, the stats back up what we think about Chris Wokes as a cricketer. I think he's a wonderful cricketer. I think he makes, you know, he's just very valuable in their side. You know, he takes the wickets. What's he get in this match? 6, 7 wickets? 7 for the match. Yeah, I think the length he bowls, I reckon over the years he's picked up a bit of zip. And I thought it was also impressive that he'd only bowled 39 overs leading up to this Test match. So, you know, bowling is all about rhythm. So to come back and bowl the way he did and have an impact like he did, and get some lower order runs as well, although I thought he was outstanding. Very, very good.
Right, what about India? Because they've won 2 games. They've done it all without Ashwin. Shardul was my choice for man of the match because of his runs and his wickets and who he got out. He got out Pope and he got out Burns and he got out Root. Not that I'm having a rant on there.
3 wickets for the match. So he got 3 wickets for the match,
But it doesn't sound... Do you think Kohli is stubborn enough to just stick with what's won it here on a pitch like this, or will he have to look at the surface?
No, he'll have
Manchester
to look.
and think about Ashwin?
No, because if that is an absolute spinathon there, which it could be, and you get bounced, he knows. Why are you asking me? He knows the king of spin at Old Trafford, the ball of the century.
But we know he's going to spin here and he didn't pick him.
Yeah, but it can spin slowly here. Old Trafford with bounce. He may not do it because the balance, he always says the balance, what we know in our dressing room, and he's 2-1 up. But if it's an absolute, he might leave someone out, he might leave Siraj out or someone, he might be going into the red zone. So there are other ways, and then you even increase your batting lineup even further. And at Old Trafford, if it is spinning a lot, you don't need so many seamers. So there are other ways of getting Ashwin in. At the moment, it looks likely they'll, you know, since that World Test Championship, they've stuck with this one plan: 4 seamers and 1 spinner, which is Jadeja.
Well, he might be stubborn, but he's also a fantastic leader, and he's turned this side into a hard nut to crack.
He has, and they look up to him. He's got the respect of all his players. They back him, and they play for him. You know, it's important as a captain that your team play for you. And I think the way Virat conducts himself, and I think we've all got to say thank you, Virat. He loves Test cricket. He's made it priority. You know, India, the powerhouse of world cricket, and you've got the biggest superstar on the planet in Virat Kohli saying, you know, Test cricket is important, and that we value it. We're going to go to Australia and win, and we're going to go to England and win. That means we've won in India, where the ball spins, the fast, bouncy pitches in Australia, the seaming, swinging pitches here in England. We can do it with this side. And I think the way he's led them side, he's made them believe. The belief is such an important part of sport. If you don't believe that it doesn't matter how good a side you have, if you don't believe you can do it, I think Virat Kohli gives them that belief, and I think it's great to watch, and he's great. Long live Test cricket while we have Virat Kohli. Please keep playing for a long, long time, Virat.
Yeah, I mean, Shane's point is spot on. It's their legacy, him and Shastri. It is their final frontier. Like Joe Root the other day, people said, well, judge him on the Ashes. All England captains are judged on the Ashes. An Indian captain, although Rahane took over in Australia after Ireland, but an Indian captain and coach, within the space of a year, in COVID, in bubbles, with everything else that's going on, with 2 IPLs, which they all play in, if they can go and win in Australia, having gone down, and if they can win in England, that would be some legacy and some.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right, finally to you about England. They lost at Lord's, bounced back at Headingley. They've lost here badly. How are they going to bounce back in Manchester?
This has been a bounce-back ability series. It's been like that all the way. India could be rolled for 120 and England could be magnificent. Don't even try and ask me to tell you what's going to happen in the next game.
That's what you paid for.
No one knows what's going to happen this series. That's why this place was an absolute sellout today, and people are loving it. 2 fragile batting lineups, 2 wonderful bowling lineups, 2 very good captains. Who knows? India, though, if you ask me which was their favourite game, I would say Old Trafford. It suits their style of cricket.
And I reckon the crystal ball, can we please have some sun like this up in Manchester? I know it's a big ass up there, but let's have 5 days of this, please, and have a great contest of the Test match.
It's been a staggering series. India have won this game by 157. Can England bounce back in Manchester? India lead the series